When we talk about benefit that things can provide you in the health world, whether they be medicinal practices or whether they be natural supplements or any sort of thing, we can't just take into account what we see purely by the research. Research tells us a lot, but there are exceptional circumstances to everything. Look at positive anecdotes. There are a lot of things that don't have as much research, say, currently, but the little bit that they have is very promising, so you can't grade it as high as you might like to grade it. Or there are a lot of things that have a lot of research and a lot of it's good and some of it's bad, and then so it also gets shamed, right? And so I want to talk about two principles today. I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about the secondary effect from things. So what do we mean by all of that? Happy Sunday, you guys. Well, if you take something like natural supplements, for example, and you look at one that, say, citrulline malate, for example, for improving exercise performance, it improves blood flow, it's a nitric oxide booster, it promotes the elimination of ammonia from the body. That's a lot of, the gist of what it does. It's a good, promotes energy production with the malic acid in it. That's a lot of the good stuff. But, mechanistically, it seems like it would be a great thing. There wasn't that much research, say, a decade ago, but, or 5 years ago, but when I was testing it, I felt really good from it. And I noticed that when I had other people try this amino acid, keto acid combo, they said, well, I feel great on it too, right? And so, I decided to include that in the Super U formula. Now it's near a top option is for improving exercise performance, right? So you have to look at things like that, and you have to really take into account your own personal response to things, because it's going to be different for everybody, right? So don't just go purely by the research, albeit there is now a good body of evidence to back it, and there was not as much prior, but there's a lot now. Look at something like chiropractic, okay? People say, you could look back, and there's no sort of chip on my shoulder or anything like that. Chiropractic is not a religion. It's nothing that you have to believe in. I don't need to convince anybody of anything. I know what it is, but, there have been people with views decades ago that, it's better now, where they would look at it as quackery and all this kind of stuff. They wouldn't go see a chiropractor. They'd be quick to pop a bunch of medications before, having the pressure taken off of their central nervous system, which controls the rest of their body, and gaining advice from the chiropractor as to how to improve their lifestyle choices and things of that nature, which could have a tenfold benefit as, that medication, right? And this all depends on the circumstances, of course, and what type of pathology and what you have going on. But, you take the research, and there's a ton of research on chiropractic now, but, in 2024, thankfully. And so you can just go by that. And if you look it up online, go ahead if you want to do it right now, and you Google it, research behind chiropractic. Well, it'll tell you that, there's moderate or modest benefit with chiropractic care plus traditional medical treatment for, say, something like low back pain as compared to medical treatment alone, right? And so there is some improvement, but it says that it's a modest improvement. Now, this modest improvement is coming from what? How many treatments? One treatment, a few treatments, right? It's different for all these different studies. Some people, they come once a week when the chiropractor recommends they come 3 times a week, right? Are you going to get the same results? Well, of course not, right? So, there's a lot of things to sift through here when you're doing your due diligence and your research in anything, in general. But in the case of chiropractic, you look at that, and let's say even, okay, you do just receive modest benefit in that regard, at least the aforementioned, for the low back pain, and it's great for neck pain, a whole bunch of things. What about something like chiropractic biophysics? Well, that's really come on as of late, and there's some very strong evidence behind that for correcting the curvature of the spine, at least to the greatest degree possible, and helping to more permanently relieve pressure on the central nervous system and the spinal nerves that come off of it, not to mention the discs between the bones, to slow the degeneration of these cushions or discs that sit between the vertebrae, right? And so that's something that can have a more lasting effect, and I would say much more than a moderate benefit, right? But even if you want to disregard all of that, take what else comes, and this is kind of the secondary effect as well we're getting into here, comes with, going to a chiropractor, for example, or taking that citrulline malate supplement, and you're like, how is all this related? That doesn't make any sense. Well, if you go to your chiropractor and you get adjusted, the adjustment, we always say it's a small piece of the pie here at Win Wellness in terms of optimizing a patient's health, right? But you have to think of all the postural adjustments they're going to give you, all the exercises, the nutritional advice, any natural supplements that might be beneficial. If you're, say, sick, you go in and they'll tell you right away, vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc, those are some things you could go pick them up here, but they can make an immediate effect, have an immediate effect on your health. And if they tell you to do this, have it and do that, and go for a walk after dinner every day, well, guess what? All of a sudden, that modest improvement in the low back pain has become a tremendous improvement in your overall health, right? And that is the goal, of course, is to find tremendous improvements somehow with whatever healthcare provider you seek out or advice in your journey to better health, that we can all achieve that together, right? So now take the secondary effect from, say, having something like that citrulline malleable. It gives you more energy to exercise, and people will look it up and they'll say, well, it's not that huge on supporting fat burning, or there's nothing about joint health, improves blood flow. Yeah, but guess what? If it gives you more energy to go for that walk every day, it gives you more energy to be active, like we talked about here the other day, at When Wellness is a secondary effect, well, then it's going to have a tremendous effect on all sorts of things, from heart health to joint health, to mood, to, a lot of things, right, that it doesn't directly affect. So think beyond the evidence, we should say, and think about the secondary effects of things, and think about the all-encompassing effect of whatever treatment you tend towards, and, where you've been guided towards, or, you think will help you in your life and to improve your health. So that's what we got for you guys today. It's really a simple message, but I think it is definitely something that's worth noting. And I think a lot of us just look black and white at things all too often, and we look for a very specific fix to something for that specific cause. But, you don't know what else this could help you with, change a world of problems, right? If it's a truly beneficial thing. Who do we got on here? Let's say what's up to the peeps. How you doing? We've been up since 5:30 working. Mike, what's up, man? How you doing? Check it out. This is my window and my pillows. Veronica set those up. I'm not that, fancy, or I should say inclined with decorative type things. I mean, I can figure it out, but she made it look nice. You know what I'm saying? How you doing, man? Quincy, what's up? G-Zilla, Ma, what's up? I love you. I'm glad you love the adjustments. Abby, what's up? Denise Brito, When Sunny Gets Blue, Luciano Bros. How you doing, my fine feather friend? Share my world. Rob, what's up? Happy Sunday, man. Love you, dude. This is When Wellness. Look. Pretty cool, huh? We got our sign over here. We got that. We got a whole nother room for stretches and exercises. And we got another table over there. There's another table over here. It's a good spot, man. I gotta get you in here one day, give you a nice adjustment. 1992, Alex, year after me. Dave, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? Happy Sunday, dog. Hope you're having a good one. Dave the Beast, Beast from the East. Nellin Chadra. W. Meyer. J. Rob, Cage 321, Everett, Washington, D.C. Guys, thanks so much for the support. But it's Sunday, so we're going to go enjoy the day. As for now, we did enjoy this a lot, too. So we got for you folks. We'll see you tomorrow, baby. Not sure where, not sure when, but we'll see you then. Have an amazing day. Thanks so much. Happy When Wellness.